You Yes. Can you hear me? Excellent. You should be able to hear me now. That. So I was about to hit like the go live button. I was like, let's do this. I'm extremely excited. Not as excited as Escalade in chat. I got to give you that. I still love that the auto mod stops the word fingering, but it won't stop like anything else. And I appreciate you testing all the features that the auto mod has. Yeah, so anyway, I was about to go live and I was really excited, and then I realized I didn't actually download the replays. So I apologize for the 5-minute wait. I had to actually pull the replays of what we were going to cast tonight. So anyway, the very first $50 tournament for StarCraft Underground has been underway. It is getting closer and closer to its conclusion, and I felt we need to catch up a little bit. So we're going to be trying to do maybe 3, maybe 4 series tonight. One of the series has already been claimed by another caster, so we're going to hold off on that one and just move ahead with all the others. But I also wanted to just thank everyone for your support. So we did hit the progress bar up here to the next StarCraft Underground tournament. We did actually hit $50. So we have the second one ready to rock and roll. As soon as this first one's done, then the second one will fire. I'm not going to overlap them right now because I just don't know how long the support will last. So I just want to make sure that we always have one going, kind of, you know, stretch it out. If we do end up getting like twice the goal, then we'll start overlapping. But anyway, we're at $6 for the next one. So already well on our way. But tonight, what we're going to be casting, if you look up here, we've already done Wolfix and Aussie Dahaki. We're going to go up here. We're going to do Fisheye versus Yakub for the winners bracket, or winners round 3. And then we're going to come down here to the lower bracket, the losers bracket. And we're going to skip Ziggy versus... I can't actually even see this. Hopefully you guys can. Ziggy versus Styx. We're going to skip that one. That one's been claimed. Another caster is going to knock that one out. And then I'm going to do LML, River, Navane, Chimera, and Mevius Keen. Okay, so we're going to start with Fisheye versus Yakub. And we will go from there, knocking out the rest of the ones in the lower bracket. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited on this wonderful Tuesday. And I'll upload all these to YouTube so that they're available for everyone else that's not on at a random weird hour at the night. Let me go ahead and get this game up for everybody. We're going to start again, like I said, Fisheye versus Yakub. I'm pretty sure that this one's a PvP, so we've got that to look forward to. And I'm stalling, and here we go. Yeah, we're going to be kicking it off on Eclipse. Let's get after it. Now, of course, I got to do the whole score sheet and all that crap, but no one ever really minds that happening. There's the game. Okay, go ahead and watch Yakub mine for a second while I get the score sheet up and running. Hopefully everyone's been having a great week. So we're going to start off on Eclipse. This is not CPL. This is going to be SCU number 150. Whoops, not pound 1. Number 1. $50. Oh my gosh. Yeah, number 150. I need an assistant. I need someone that can type and understands how to do this score sheet. Aha, we got there. And this is going to be winners bracket round 3. We do have Yakub facing off against Fisheye. Haha, we got there. We got there. Hooray! Yeah, I know. I act like a toddler typing on a keyboard too. These colors are pretty cool. Let's see if yeah, they didn't do top first bottom anyway. So we're going to be doing pink up here in the top right. This is Yakub, as stated earlier. He is a Protoss player, and then down here in the bottom left we've got Fisheye, also a Protoss player, and he is going to be this nice light green looking thing, this like greenish gray, very sharp colored. I'm here for it. Can you not use Tangia? I just think it's all bits because someone was abusing it last time. I won't name who it was, Escalade. I won't point any fingers. Mama didn't raise no snitch. Escalade. Oh man. Anyway, Fisheye, he's gonna come up here. He's gonna see that we've got a cybernetics core going down, that we do have probes on the gas, and that there's no funkiness, no proxies out on the map. Cybernetics core going down for Fishy as well. Let me go ahead and allow your fingering command. Escalade, maybe I should make you a mod so that you can actually adjust the commands and everything. Oh god, you added a command. Alright, I'll have to add it. What should it say? What should it do? Meanwhile, Yakub down here, bebopping around, checking out Fisheye's base. Fisheye's got 3 on gas. He just did pop out a single zealot. We haven't seen a zealot yet for Yakub. Oh, I take that back. We have, and he's chasing out the probe of Fisheye. And now I have to like stop watching the chat because you're wildly distracting me, Esk. All right, so both players really just doing a really good job of keeping their probe alive, keeping it active, getting full scouts of their opponent. Neither one at a point where they're ready to expand. Both of them just kind of throwing out a Dragoon, getting Dragoon range. Completely mirrored builds at the moment. Now Fishy, he's going to be getting his probe out of the base as well as Yakub. Yakub's is going to be lagging just a little bit behind. It's going to allow Fisheye to get... Oh, it might actually kill him. Oh, bye-bye probe. Meanwhile, Fisheye's did survive, was out in time and heading back home. And the Dragoon and Zealot are following. Now, it does look like Yakub is going to... Oh, I thought he was going to head back, but no, he was just regrouping. And he still might poke in with this. Meanwhile, Fisheye is just going to double back with the probe. Try to get secondary scouting information, find out if Yakub is going to be expanding, or if he's going to be throwing down some gateways, or even going into a fast robotics facility. We are going to be seeing the robotics facility from Yakub. Fisheye is also throwing one down. So the likelihood of Reavers getting higher and higher likelihood. And that is why we watch PvP. We don't want to see Zealots fight each other. We want to see Reavers explode everything. Because the only good Protoss is a dead Protoss. Second gateway being warped in for Yakub. This does look like a little bit of a deviation between the two. Also, probe up here in the base is going to be able to come back through Yakub's base and get a full scout. So, going to be coming over here, going to see the robotics facility. It's going to observe this second gateway going down. And meanwhile, Fisheye is holding back a little bit on getting that second gateway, it would appear. But he is going to have a superior Dragoon count, it looks like. Now, Yakub getting his Nexus down. Getting an earlier expansion. Fisheye also going to be throwing his down. 4 Dragoons and a Zealot, 2 Dragoons and a Zealot. That's the difference here. 3. So instead of a gateway, Fisheye was comfortable with just throwing out another Dragoon. Now, nothing coming out of the robotics facility yet, but we do have Yakub going into a support bay. Now, he got his observatory, as did Fisheye, but the support bay is a little bit of a deviation here. Fisheye is now getting it, so... Every time I say, this is a deviation from the other player, they just like flip-flop the order in which they're knocking things out. So, observers coming out for both of them, and Yakub sending his dudes back home. Yeah, both players just happy chilling. Happy chilling. Yakub does look like he's about to go and take a third base. This is at the 6-minute mark. Feels a little early. I wonder if he's going to be heading up to the top left. It looks like a little bit of a misclick there. I think he is intending to go up here instead at the 12 o'clock. All right, good night, Escalade. Good night. You can catch this this cast later. Got to get them up on the YouTube. Let me go ahead and allow your message again. There you go. I wonder what happens when I add the command that gets modded, if it still goes through, if it gets modded. We'll have to find out. We'll find out at the next cast, just for you. All right, so we do have a Reaver coming out here for Fisheye. We have the third base being prepped for Yakub. And overall, you know, both players looking pretty even at the moment. Fisheye's Observer is going to be getting into the main base of Yakub. Going to be seeing everything that's going on. I'm pretty sure it caught wind of the army that was down here as well. And now it's Yakub's turn to get his Observer in. Absolutely riveting. Both players going up to 2 Reavers. And it looks like Fishy here has brought up some Dragoons into the main base, and this is to protect against any drops. He knows if he has Reavers out, Yakub's got Reavers out. What they haven't seen from one another is a shuttle. I'm not even sure where Fisheye's Observer went. Oh, there it is. It came over here. He saw that the third base was being prepped. Saw that the pylons were going down. It's just remaining very active with that Observer. Now look at this. We have additional pylons going out here in the bottom right for Yakub. This looks like kind of anti-drop defense in the form of just increased vision. Even has his probe over here kind of splitting distance between this bottom right and the army that's up here outside the natural. So he has really good visibility on all the approaches that Fisheye could take if he decides to try to come in and get a Reaver drop. And we do have a shuttle out. Okay, so we are moving out. It looks like he's going to be bringing the shuttle with the Reavers along with the army. And here they go. Here they go. Let's see what happens. Now, I think this is going to come down to just micro overall. Yakub's going to get early warning of this, I think. Okay, he's going to see that one Dragoon. It might inspire him to come over here and double check. Yeah, he's going to be coming back. So I think he has realized that he is under attack. He's getting his Reavers into position. No additional Reavers being made, by the way. Now, Fisheye does have Reavers being made, and he's going to get the opening volley on the Scarabs. So that's huge. He has the shuttle here. Going to be able to juggle these. Ooh, big Scarab shot on the Reavers. And it looks like Fisheye is a little ahead in this fight. It's a little tough to tell. And a single Scarab can make a huge difference. The Reaver, one of the Reavers does go down here for Yakub. Now, I didn't see the other one. Okay, so both of them still survive for Fisheye. So overall, healthy Reaver count up against 1 Reaver count. Now, we'll see what Fisheye can make happen with these. I think he's going to have to pull back. But overall, that was an effective trade. Yeah, he's going to have to pull back. There are Dragoons out here by the mineral line. But if you look at the supply, Yakub is still ahead on supply. And he's got 6 gateways to Fisheye's 3, 4. So Fisheye is increasing his gateway count. He's going up to 5 right now. But we also have Yakub maximizing that advantage for the moment. Reducing out of most of his gateways. And we'll see if he decides to move out here soon. He has restarted Reaver production. He's replacing that second one that was lost in that engagement. And meanwhile, over here, we still have 2. And then I believe we have the shuttle out here somewhere. I didn't see. Oh, there it is. Here it is, right into the main base. He's going to get a Dragoon. Maybe a second one if he's lucky. The shuttle goes down, and so does the Reaver. I feel like that might have been a little bit wasteful by Fisheye. I think if he had just regrouped with his army with a second shuttle and attacked like he did before, but this time with 4 Reavers instead of 2, I think he would have been in a pretty happy spot. Now it's Yakub's turn to move out. Now his army is split. This might open up an opportunity for a flanking maneuver, though, especially if Fisheye tries to retreat. He might get cut off by this other Dragoon force, but it does look like Yakub, his Dragoons are being a little derpy, as they're known to be. And we'll see how these... Oh, one of the Reavers does get knocked out for Fisheye. Needs to be careful about this shuttle. He moves it back behind his Dragoons for safety. And like we were talking about with Yakub and his army being split and moving in the way that they were, that did open up an opportunity for Fisheye to kind of fight Yakub's army in smaller groups and knock them out. So now Fisheye is on the offensive. He's going to be going up and around. He's going to be identifying this third base, potentially knocking it out. But Yakub running his Dragoons back up the ramp. Ooh, nice little scarab hit there. A few of them getting knocked out in the retreat. And oh no, the probe transfer going right through the middle, and that's going to be it. Yakub's going to say GG, and we're going to be moving into game number 2. I enjoy PvP when there's a lot of Reavers, and neither of these players disappointed. We had a bunch of Reavers out and slinging scarabs. And, you know, Fisheye ended up winning that one, but I felt like it would have been so much more decisive if he hadn't lost those 2 Reavers in the main base. But overall, great game by both players. Very similar builds. I think what it really came down to is just Yakub losing that army, or at least a good portion of it in a poor trade, as his Dragoons were just kind of being derpy. So you can almost chalk that one up to pathing. All right, let's go ahead into game number 2. And let's go ahead and give Fisheye his 1 win. We are on... I totally missed what map we're on. What map are we on? All right, we're on Radion. So game number 2 on Radion. Let's see what these players can do. In the bottom left, we have in the pink, Yakub. And up in the top left, in the yellow this time, we've got Fisheye. Both these players duking it out in winners bracket round 3, getting ever closer to that $50 prize, 50 big ones. I really hope both these players go Reavers again. And what I also hope is that someone does get a Reaver off on a mineral line and blows up a bunch of probes. It's just so satisfying. It's like, even just watching it is satisfying, but I imagine playing, being Protoss, and having a Scarab just erupt a gajillion probes. It's gotta feel so good. So slapping down a pylon, slapping down a gateway, and then heading out on the map to scout. So Fisheye, he scouted a little bit before Yakub last round as well. Yakub looks like he's going to be staying home after throwing down the gateway. We'll see when he decides to head out on the map. It also looks like Fisheye is going to be getting a first scout. He is going down to the bottom left as the first location. Ooh, and good thing too. Yakub going to gate, sends his probe out after he drops that second gateway. And we'll see what kind of aggression Yakub tries to put onto Fisheye. We'll see if this is a heavy zealot opener. He ends up going like 3 zealots and then moving out. But Fisheye also doing the same. Throws down a second gateway as well. Very cool. Looks like we're going to have early fireworks. And I don't remember, I know we're in the winners bracket round 3 right now, and we'll be doing a lot of lower bracket matches after this. But I don't remember all the races that are in the lower bracket right now. I remember when we did the very initial like winners bracket round 2, it was a lot of Protoss. There was a lot of Protoss mixed in there. So I think we're set for a night to have a lot of Protoss again. I think there's one Zerg, but I'm not sure if there's going to be any Terran tonight. All right, so we have the 3 zealots out. Looks like they're going to be chasing this probe around. Okay, Yakub scoops him up. See if he, oh nice, he's like herding this probe towards the ramp, but it doesn't cooperate. And it doesn't look like Yakub's actually going to be moving out. And it looks like Fisheye's also just focused on closing off his ramp as opposed to trying to put on some early pressure. So maybe not as much fireworks as I was hoping for early in this match. Cybernetics core is down. Looks like this zealot did kill the scouting probe from Yakub. And there's a core going down for Yakub as well. And I think one of these guys has a probe kill. Yeah, there he is. All right, I guess we're back to chilling. We're back to just relaxing. Gotta hydrate. You guys think we're gonna see carriers? I hope so. If we don't get a bunch of Reaver play, then I hope at least we get a carrier battle. Alright, so Single Zealot gonna be running out on the map here. He is taking a route where he might be looking for proxies, but he also might just be trying to avoid any secondary scout, like this one that's coming up here from Yakub right now. Yakub gonna park that behind the mineral line. This is gonna give him early warning in the event Fisheye decides to take that expansion. And it looks like Yakub going for a robotics facility. Same for Fisheye. So the first round we had absolutely mirrored builds, and it looks like in this map we're going to have mirrored builds as well. Just a completely different build order. Looks like these players exchanged notes on what their plan was. Okay, so we do lose the Zealot for free. It came down here. Really the information that Fisheye was able to grab was that he was not behind on expanding. He recognizes that Yakub hasn't expanded either, so he has a little bit of time until he needs to move out. And it also lets him know, you know, if there's no expansion, he could be just continuing to tech up. So we'll see what kind of decisions that pushes Fisheye towards. Fisheye is getting his Dragoon range at the moment. Not sure if we've seen that from Yakub yet, but Yakub has started the expansion at his natural and his observatory. Okay, yeah, he hadn't started his range. He just now got it. And instead of an observer, looks like Fisheye is getting his shuttle. Okay, so it looks like Fisheye, he's going to need to be on the offensive here soon. He does have a little bit of like an army advantage and small timing window for him to push out because Yakub took this expansion so much faster than he did. He had to invest in both the Nexus, getting this pylon out here. So we'll have to see if Fisheye is able to capitalize on a moment of opportunity, or if he's just going to be economically behind for a while. But I feel like he needs to get out there, get some damage done. Otherwise, he's going to be potentially overwhelmed by Yakub, who's going up to 4 gateways right now. Now, Fisheye is getting the support facility for his, or the support bay, whatever the hell you call this thing. Yeah, the robotic support bay. He's going to be getting those Reavers out. And meanwhile, Yakub's not going that route. He's continuing to just go full gateway. And it doesn't look like he has as much, right? So this is kind of that window we were talking about. Now, I'm not sure if he can see this probe. Looks like he can, actually. Yeah, he's going to come up here and knock that out. Okay, and that doesn't necessarily signal to Yakub that an attack is coming either. But it might signal to Yakub that an expansion might be in the near future for Fisheye. Now, Fisheye, I think, waiting for a Reaver? I guess he hasn't... Oh, there it is. Okay, he did just start a Reaver and getting his probe out here to expand. So he's going to... I kind of want to see... I want to see Fisheye attack. Maybe that's just selfish, though. I'm like, I want action. I want something to watch. I want to see goons exploding into blue goo. Alright, the observer is going to come over here, and this observer is going to see this Reaver pop out. And you can see, like, Yakub's really in a good spot, actually. He's got 13 more probes, which is pretty significant. His army is not a joke either. He's going up to 5 gateways. His ability to expand early and macro out a ton of units does have him 9 supply ahead. So what that does mean, though, is that means Fisheye actually has the superior army. I mean, he's up 14 probes, but his army supply is not as high. So this might be a good timing for Fisheye, like we were talking about earlier. Okay, now the skirmish has started, and here comes the Reaver. This is the great equalizer. He needs to be very careful about the shuttle. It dies, but the Reaver survives, being targeted down by a couple of these goons, but they're being shot. Oh, man, the Reaver does go down, but there's not a whole lot left here for Yakub. Looks like pretty even numbers on the Dragoon front. So now it's coming down to just micro. Now Fisheye trying to reinforce here, sending more Dragoons across the map, expanding behind it. And this is what Fisheye needs. Fisheye needs to equalize the worker count a little bit. And ideally, if possible, start to contain on Yakub up in the main base. We'll see what's back here for Fisheye. He's just pumping out more Dragoons, more Reavers. He doesn't have a shuttle anymore, though. So these Reavers, any Reavers that come out are either going to be on the defensive or they're going to have to crawl their happy asses all the way across the map. You do see the shuttle here being made after the Reaver. We'll see if he waits for that to pop out before he tries to send it in. All right. This natural base not looking good for Yakub. We'll see if he tries to come down here before he dies. No, he's opting to just sacrifice it. Building a ninja base up here in the top right to get that mining back underway. And he is building his own Reaver in the main base for defense. Okay, so we have the Reaver back home for Fisheye. Waiting on the shuttle and a second Reaver behind that. Fisheye might be comfortable to just sit here and contain and wait. He's not aware of this ninja base, but it's a ways off from being completed. But I think Fisheye is in a position where he's feeling pretty good, and you'll notice just now, he just surpassed Yakub in worker count. So the damage has been done. He hit that timing where he was ahead militarily, just barely, and really capitalized on it. I think if Yakub had a defensive Reaver, this would be playing out a little bit differently. Now, Yakub's gateway count is really still superior to Fisheye. Fisheye just now going up to 4. And so the defender's advantage is very real for Yakub. Oh, but here comes the Reavers. Reaver did arrive for Fisheye. Did get a big scarab hit off on the defense. And this Reaver almost dying. Down to 24 health. Which is like 2, like with the shields, it's like 2 Dragoon shots. Fisheye doing a good job keeping the observers out of the way so that Yakub doesn't have vision and can't really shoot down here very easily. And there goes the shuttle. Okay, so the shuttle is heading back home because there's a second Reaver that just hit the map. And I like that Fisheye is leaving some Dragoons home because he doesn't have, I don't think he has full awareness of what's going on up here in Yakub's base. So if Yakub was going to try to counter drop or anything along those lines, it could be really damaging. Nice scarab shots. Needs to be careful about this observer. Well, there it goes. But that was what was enabling him to actually shoot up this ramp. Oh no, this Reaver's gonna get smoked. Yep, there it goes. Does get a scarab off though on Fisheye's Reaver. Has to come back and lick its wounds, try to regenerate some of those shields. But right now, things are looking very, very good for our yellow Protoss up here in the top left. The shuttle is coming back down after ferrying another Reaver down to the front. And Yakub really just sitting here with a field of Dragoons. Many more Dragoons than Fisheye has down here. But that Reaver is really what is holding him up at the top of this ramp. And now with the second one, this is looking a little rough. Okay, so what do you do? What do you do, right? Looks like we're getting some zealots. I like that idea. Get down here, eat some of the scarab shots, and try to funnel past. Like, this ramp is actually working very much in the favor of Fisheye. Anything that tries to come down, it's going to get kind of derpy, right? We're having a traffic jam right here. And then it's going to be, you know, 2, 3 against 10. So really tough spot. And it's not like you can just like drop on this either, right? Because the Dragoons will just shoot the shuttle out of the sky. So Yakub is up and running at this base. So not terribly behind economically. In fact, Yakub has more probes than Fisheye. And Fisheye is out on the map with a probe. I'm not sure if he's looking to just expand or if he's keeping an eye out for any potential hidden bases. And as he comes out of here, I'm wondering if he's going to come across this hidden base. If he does, it's gone. Like, it's dead, and along with the hopes of Yakub. Observer goes down. Here comes a shuttle. This might be Yakub's last hope. Does it? Oh my gosh! Oh no! Those Dragoons patrolling the top side of Yakub's base, able to knock that shuttle out of the sky, and Yakub knows that he's contained. Like he's decides to throw in the GG, and that's gonna be it for that series. That was a fun one. That was fun. GG's to both players. So that was up here, right? So that was the winner's bracket, round 3. Fisheye ended up winning 2-0, and he'll move on. I don't know why I'm so blurry again. Sometimes this thing gets super out of focus. Whatever. And Yakub is going to go down to like here somewhere and participate in the lower bracket, round 3. So next up, let's start doing some of our lower bracket matches. Our next match, we are going to have LML versus River JJ. I think this might be a ZVZ. Let's go ahead and get into it and find out. But we are going to be skipping Ziggy Stardust versus Styx. That match has been claimed by Navane. So Navane will be casting that one sometime in the near future, I think. Yeah, so this is going to be a ZVZ, and we're going to be starting off on Eclipse. So let's go ahead and start. Let's not dilly-dally. Let's not dingle-dangle. So, got Eclipse. Whoops. Here, watch him mine for a little bit while I fix this. So, we got Eclipse. We've got Z. We've got lower bracket. Round 2. And we've got River versus LML. Let's go ahead and change this. We'll do LML on the left. We'll do River on the right, and I think we're good. I think we're all good. Happy-go-lucky. All right, did they do top versus bottom? Oh, they did. Excellent. So up here in the top right, we have our blue Zerg, LML. Down here in the bottom left, we've got our red Zerg, River. The Night of Mirror matches. I don't think there's a whole lot of I mean, like, I think the majority of the bracket that's still remaining is Protoss. I think that's the case. A lot of Protoss players in general. You can't escape them. And so having a ZVZ kind of feels bad because that was an opportunity to be a PVZ, right? So we're like wasting the Zergs on each other. Then we've got a couple Terrans. And then we've got Wolfix and Ozzy Dahaki that you saw, I think, in the last cast. And I'd have to look back at the bracket. We'll see after this who we've got left. But yeah, a lot of Protosses. Anyway, it does look like we're going to Overlord and to a pool. So Overpool here for LML. Well, I guess 12 pool. And then down here we are going Extractor for River. Now, the more I've been watching ZVZ, the more I like this build. Obviously, it's a little bit weaker to the earlier Ling pressure, like a 9 pool or something along those lines. But the ability to just go straight into layer and get Mutalisks, if you're able to defend this ramp, when you are more vulnerable early on, your likelihood to win, I feel like, just skyrockets. You force the opponent to go into spore colonies if they haven't layered up, you know, at a time comparable to yourself. And so we'll have to see if that's kind of what plays out here. Now, what I want to hazard River is doing this and moving out with a bunch of Zerglings. I understand the need to get some scouting information, but I really hope, for River's sake, that we don't see him sacrificing a lot of these over at LML's base, because as he gets over there and he gets his scouting information, he's going to recognize LML expanded, right? LML does not have a layer yet, and instead is going speed. And so really what he needs to do, in my opinion, is turtle up a little bit, right? Turtle up a little bit, hold the ramp, make the numbers of LML Zerglings, which are going to be superior with the larva count and with the speed, and get up to Mutalisks as fast as possible. And so we do see River coming in here, trying to get favorable engagements, but LML is going to be doing just fine. That looks like he's been trading better than 1-for-1 here. Ooh, I like that little micro. Did you see that? Moving the wounded Zerglings back and replacing them with fresh ones at the front. LML doing very good at keeping these Lings at bay. Now we do have a couple get into the main while the Lings start fighting down at the natural. We'll see if he can get a probe. Does get one. And every probe is worth its weight in gold in this matchup. Oh my gosh. I'd be surprised if we saw this drone count. Did I say probe? This drone count get above like 10 for either player. So we do have a Spire and a Creep Colony. So River is a little worried, I think, recognizing that he sacrificed a lot of Lings against a Zerg that expanded and has, you know, well, I guess expanded, right? Has 2 hatcheries worth of larvae to work with. So River's going to be coming out here, going to be chasing these Lings, which is a little bit dangerous yet again. And there was an ambush waiting, and LML able to take another favorable trade. I really want to see River just hold this and go straight to mutas. Now, we do know that there is a layer on the way for LML as well, but he's so far behind on Spire that River should have the opportunity to get Mutalisks out way ahead of anything that LML can really do to defend. And I think LML might think he's closer to his layer timing than he really is, right? We don't see an evolution chamber or anything for spores. So really what the decision is can I kill River with the Lings that I have? And it doesn't look like he's going to be pushing and trying for that. So overall, I like how this looks for River. Now, a couple other things that I want to make sure don't happen for River is I really hope this Mutalisk doesn't pop out and he just attacks this Overlord for a long time. I think if the Mutalisk pops out, you need to send it. Send it and start slinging glaives at drones. Now, over here, we do have the Evolution Chamber going down. We do have a Creep Colony here at the Mineral Line and a second one down here at the Natural Mineral Line as well. So the spores are going to be up in time. So earlier I was saying, oh, LML this, LML that. No, he's got his timings figured out. He knows that he needs to have these spores up now. And unfortunately for River, we do see the Mutalisk hitting the Overlord instead. But I guess maybe River is aware of the timings as well and knows, okay, well, LML is going to have spores. Killing an Overlord is definitely a big deal. It's not a big deal. But if he knows he's not going to be able to get any damage done, he saw that layer being morphed earlier on. Maybe that was the best he could hope for in the moment. Okay, so as the Mutalisk comes out and LML gets his layer up and the spores up, I'm starting to like LML's position a whole lot more. You can see he's not really mining gas. He already has a bunch of gas banked up. LML also has a superior drone count. 8 to 6, right? But if you think about it, like that's what 25% more mining than what River's got. So things are looking pretty good. Oh my gosh, spores kill Scourge so fast. And so here comes River. Yeah, he's gonna have to turn around, but he spotted this Overlord when the Mutalisk was flying around. So I think right now hitting Overlord's not a bad idea. If he kills this Overlord, that will supply block LML. So he's going to have to dedicate resources to getting an Overlord out, which is a little bit of a feel bad. So 9 workers to 6 workers. So now a 33% deficit, I guess, or increase in mining over his opponent. River swapping back into a bunch of Lings. Now, River, I think, has stopped mining gas. He got that initial Mutalisk out, but he's not mining gas anymore. He, like, changed his whole attack strategy to Lings after he identified the spores. I don't think he was expecting this sunken colony, though. I don't think that was up when the spores kind of came through. So that's helping LML a lot. There's another sunken up here in the main. Doesn't quite get a drone. Oh no, loses those Lings for free. This is turning into a banger. I don't know if we're going to see Hive, though. Similar to seeing, you know, Reaver play in PvP. The dream here for Zerg is seeing a hive game. Now the Sunken doing a lot of work helping these Lings out on the defense. LML really tightly holding that ramp, not letting River get up there. Now LML, he doesn't have any mining going on here at the natural. This is pretty much just a larva factory. A larva factory and a speed bump to help keep River off the ramp. Now River does get a Ling up into the main, but more Lings are hatching. There is a Sunken. Ooh, does he get that drone? He does not. Does not. And so River's just going to keep sending Lings. Now, this is... what's making this sustainable for him is he got this second hatchery. I was wondering about that. I was like, he definitely needs to have a larva count that can compete with what LML's got going on. And luckily back home he does. Alright. Well, it's kind of anyone's game at this moment. River with the higher supply for sure. Still sharking with his Mutalisk. Getting that count slowly up. It does look like he's back on gas. And so he's got 3 Mutas out on the map right now. Yeah, now 4. This is going to help a lot in any of these Ling battles for sure. And we still don't have a Spire yet. Okay, so the Spire is finishing up here for LML. Now, what I'm curious about is if he's going to sit back, kind of turtle, get his own Mutalisk count high, or if he's going to go more into a heavy Scourge and see if he can snipe these Mutas, be efficient economically on that front, and really just swarm the Zerglings. But here go the Mutas. We've got River producing more. He's got 2 more queued up. And we see LML droning pretty heavily. He's at 13 to 11 drones right now. And we have another creep colony going down. So LML playing a little bit more defensive. And we do see a bunch of Scourge. Okay, so that kind of answers our earlier question. River trying to get what damage he can. Kind of found a window up here at the ramp where the Mutalisks can just go to town on these Lings. But needs to be careful not to get them too close to this hatchery because here comes the Scourge run! Oh no, there goes one Mutalisk. LML has River on the run. Oh, it looks like he caught another one. Very efficient. Very efficient trades there for LML. But still a little bit behind on supply, and a lot of this is because of the amount of static defense he has. But there's going to be a point where he has all this static defense, and if he can continue trading these Mutalisks out for Scourge, LML will be sitting pretty. It's getting 3 more pairs of Scourge out on the field. There they are. They're going to be hanging out here. It looks like maybe around the ramp. And he might, oh, it looks like he's going to be parking his Mutalisks behind the mineral line in his main. He's going to hide those, start building up his numbers. I like that for a couple reasons. One, the element of surprise. When he does commit them, they'll be very, very powerful. And then 2, they serve as like a surprising defense. So if the Mutalisks do come in and try to dive the main, he'll have them in addition to his Spore Colony. Alright, so the Scourge flying around. Keeping an eye out for these Mutas. Ah, River was able to knock out one of them. Almost killed the second. Ooh, but it looks like, well, I'm not sure if a Muta went down. Maybe this one was the one that was hit by it. Almost died. Ah, there it goes. Wow. If that had hit almost any other Mutalisk, it would have been fine. But he hit the perfect one to knock it out of the air. More Scourge coming out for LML. Mutalisk numbers starting to grow. This is getting a little scary. I don't know what like the scary number is here for that Muta count, but I feel like if LML can bring it up to like 8, he'll be feeling pretty good. And he's got 5 more queued up. 3 of them just hatched. Getting his second gas now. Yeah. I think this is becoming a little bit more of like this is late game ZVZ. All right, so there's 10 for River. And we've got 8 for LML. 9. Huh. I don't know what the play is. I feel like there might be a school of thought of wait until he attacks and then counterattack after the trade. Like, something just went down there. I think it was a Zergling. And so LML has pretty good information regarding how many Mutalisks River is rocking on the map. I don't know if there's any world in which we might see a third base go down for either of these Zergs. I don't think so. Definitely not at this point. I mean, we have LML not even mining. I guess he has 1 drone mining now at the natural. Okay, now it looks like LML's getting ready to move out. Oh my gosh, but he just misses River's attack. And River has a lot more air. Okay, LML sees it now. He's going to have to come back. We've got like 1 Muta here. These Mutas are going to be able to one-shot drones. Likely going to be able to knock out this Spore. But now we've got Muta on Muta. Here come the Scourge. Scourge on Scourge. Ooh, nice micro by LML. Pulling the Scourge into the Spore colony. And now he just has superior Muta numbers. Ooh. Ran right through a couple Scourge there. More flowing to the front from River. LML needs to be careful about these. Lose another Mutalisk. Then we've got an air battle. Let's see what happens. Let's see who comes out on top. Ooh, that movement not doing good for River. Not helping him in any way. Right now we've still got 9 for LML. Only 2 for River. This might be it. This might be it. I don't think there's any Spores either for River. That's kind of like the big differentiation here. Is that LML has static defense at home. River does not. And before all these Lings could get to River's base, we get a GG. And LML is going to take map number 1. Sweet. Well, let's go into game 2. So LML won that one, which means River gets to pick his map of choice from the map pool. And it does look like he chose Polestar. So let's watch his EVZ on Polestar. And let's find my score sheet. Alright, so LML got the map win. And then map 2 is Polestar. Alright. So Polestar, 4-player map, might play out a little bit differently than Eclipse. We will have to see. Up here in the top right, we have River as our red Zerg. And then down here in the bottom right, we've got LML as our blue Zerg. Now, we're in the lower bracket now, right? The last match we casted was the winner's bracket. Even if you lost, you're still in the tournament. But whoever loses this best of 3 series is actually out. No longer in the running for the $50 prize. So, I imagine River is feeling the pressure. Needs to come back. Needs to reverse sweep this best of 3 and get 2 wins on the board. But this was his map of choice, so I wonder why he chose Polestar. Maybe it was just a, I don't care, pick whatever map. Or if he's got a plan. He knows something. Alright, so it looks like 9 pool here from River. Meanwhile, LML going into an Overlord. Last game, LML did a 12 pool and expanded. And River did exactly this. And went into a fast layer. What that allowed LML to get his speed first. Allowed him to have that additional larva. He took some good trades against River with the Zergling fights early on. Remember that? And then LML being on the back foot had to put up a bunch of Spores and Sunkens, which actually ended up paying off for him really well. Alright, so LML has the Overlord heading off to the left. It's going to realize that there's no Zerg bases over in that direction, but he's also sending a drone out on the map. And we're not seeing that from River just yet. Now, River is getting his gas up, likely going to see an early layer. I don't think he's going to go straight into speed, if I were to guess, based off last game. But I'm wrong, because that's what happens whenever I say anything. Alright, so speed is being upgraded for River. mixing it up just a little bit. And LML doing the same thing that he did last game. He's getting that hatchery up. Then he's getting his extractor. And then he'll be going speed himself. Now, we're going to have 6 lings potentially showing up to LML's base. But not yet. You know what? He just did a weird direction shift too. I feel like because his overlord knew he wasn't in the top left. He knew that. But he didn't know if he was in the bottom left or in the bottom right. But then he saw this drone. He saw this drone coming from the top left. And for some reason, that seemed to be the information he needed to go down here to the bottom right. But LML was right on top of it. Has his own lings up and ready. It is 6v6. LML's just a little bit more banged up. But he's got that defender's advantage. So we're going to be seeing that good old-fashioned Zergling ping pong ball, it looks like. Going back and forth from base to base. And I'm kind of losing track of who has how many. Looks like River's actually sitting pretty right now. River getting some decent trades. Only 3 remaining for LML. LML needs to pull in some help in the form of drones. That might be just the DPS he needed. We're now 3v3 on the Ling front, but 2 more show up for River. We got drones spitting. More Lings popping. Oh man, this is tight. This is really tight for LML. And you know, he's not even like at an economic disadvantage right now by having these drones out either. Because River doesn't have as many. He's only sitting at 6. So pulling just 2 turned out to be like the perfect amount for LML to defend that early aggression. When the hell did this happen? Oh my god. LML took his scouting drone and just straight up built a sunken here in the main of River. That's why River's pulling back with these lings. Oh my gosh, that's bonkers, and it went unnoticed for so long. That's why River's down to only 2 drones. I completely missed that. That might be game-ending damage. That was insane. This is allowing LML such a huge economy lead. 2 drones to 9? Look at all these lings. River doesn't have near that many. River's going to pop in here. He's going to see them. He knows. Oh, crap. Creep colony going down for LML here at the natural. And now River knows, okay, it's time to turtle up a little bit. Come home. Hold the ramp. Hold the ramp. Wow, that was wild. I cannot believe a creep colony got made and transformed into a sunken colony without Lings being able to knock it out. I think that just snuck under River's nose when he was down there in the bottom right with his Lings, just microing. Really cool play. Alright, here comes the Ling flood from LML. Both players have speed. River has not as many. He's been trying to drone up. He's up to 5 drones now. Closing that delta with LML, but look at this number of Lings. River trying to hold the ramp. Using this small gap. Oh, backs up just a little bit, but that's all that's needed for LML to get a little bit more surface area. I think that's it, and so does River. He throws in the GG. That was so cool. LML's little sunken trick there. Now, I also want to point out these Zergling feet. I don't think I ever really noticed that they had like webbed feet like that. They're like scary little four-armed ducks or something. Anyway, I don't think I've ever paid that close attention. Alright, so that's going to be it for that series. LML is going to take it 2-0. So that means down here, LML defeats River 2-0. LML will move on to the losers bracket round 3, and River is out of the tournament. Next up, we do have Navane versus Chimera. Oh, Chimera, there's a Terran. Okay, so this is this should be a TVP. Should be a TVP. Let's go ahead and open it up, and indeed it is. We're gonna be on Eclipse. Let's get our Terran action on. Alright, now I gotta adjust all this stuff. Oh man, the score sheet was all jacked up too. As is tradition. Alright, let's go ahead and put Chimera over here. We'll do Chimera as our blue Terran. Well, I guess he's red, but he'll be blue on the score sheet. Versus Nevane. Protoss. Alright, cool. So over here in the top right on Eclipse, 2-player map, we have our red Terran, Chimera, facing off against our blue Zerg. Blue Protoss, Nevane. Yeah, Nevane's also going to be the person that's casting the Ziggy match that we skipped over. I think it's Ziggy versus Styx. That should be a good one too. Styx is a Zerg player, so I think that's a PVZ. So yeah, a lot of other races than Protoss in this bracket. I guess they just ended up in the lower bracket after like round 1 for the most part. Alright, not much going on, which means it's time to hydrate. Gotta get that water. Ah, late night casts. They make me thirsty. Thirsty Tuesday. Alright, so it looks like Nevane not going to be going for like a 2-gate Zelt Rush or anything like that on this 2-player map. Is throwing down the gateway, Assimilator, likely to go Dragoons in Dragoon range. Very common, very standard. There is a possibility, and there's a world where we see some sort of DT tech or something. We'll have to see what happens after the Assimilator is completed. Then Chimera parking out on the ramp here. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I think he's just looking for proxy stuff. Does see the probe. He's going to go ahead and head across the map. Get that scouting information. We are approaching factory timing here. Very soon. Boom. 228. Damn, Chimera. I see you. 228 factory. What I didn't notice is if that was an 11 or a 12 gas, though. So, factory is down. SCV running into the Protoss main. Going to see the gateway, the assimilator, the cybernetics core. Cybernetics core is spinning now, going range. And it looks like Chimera is at least showing that he's not pulling off gas, which is generally an indicator that he's going to go 2-fact. But it does look like at the last minute there, he did pull off a couple guys off gas. And he's going to knock out this probe. We'll see if he sends them back. Something you can kind of do to screw with someone that's pretty decent at scouting. If they see you pull off gas, then they're like, okay, cool, he's going to expand. I'll send a goon. We'll deal with the bunker. We'll do that whole dance. But then if he throws it back on gas and then goes like 2-gate, you could unfortunately face some ambiguous like aggression that you may not have been expecting. But the Dragoon's going to be heading across. We do have this SCV blocking the ability for Nevane to expand. Not going to delay it too long. Dragoon's going to come here, shoo away the SCV, and there goes the expansion for both players. Amira's going to throw down a bunker, and yeah, this is turning into as standard as it gets. Alright, we're back on gas. And we do have the Vulture out on the map. So we'll see if the Vulture ends up diving. We do have a couple of Dragoons heading towards the natural of Chimera. Need to get those Marines in there. There we go. But range isn't done yet. So range will be finishing up here in just a second. Then these goons will start being able to plink away at the bunker, be super annoying, do what Dragoons do. Meanwhile, Vulture hanging out here up in the top left, waiting for mines to finish. See Chimera pull another SCV to help out his buddy with repairing this bunker. SCV transfer, tank, mines, and then here comes the Vulture. There is a Dragoon back home though, so I don't think that this Vulture is going to be able to get up into the main. It might have some luck down here at the natural if it decides to go all the way in, but it kind of looks like he's waiting for mines. I think he's more interested in preserving his vulture, getting the mines laid out at the expansion locations, and delaying those and just getting vision out on the map. Pretty common thing to do. He's also using this vulture that was able to sneak out past those goons to place some mines in the way of, you know, reinforcements. There are other routes on this map, but this is definitely the primary route that Protoss would be using. So meanwhile, the tank did come out, did push these goons back. It looks like he was probably shooting at this guy. But Navane was quick to identify that. We got the observatory up. We're going to get observers. That's going to help prevent mines blowing up in the Dragoon's face as he's moving across the map. So again, everything very, very standard looking. Which I heard saying that something looks standard is just a caster's way of saying, I don't really know what's going on, just say it's standard. Which I'm not saying isn't true. But this is a very common play pattern. So that mine is going to see these goons and this probe potentially advance towards an expansion, right? We're approaching that 6:30 mark. That is a very common like Protoss third expansion timing. We don't see them moving right now. I thought they would be. I wanted to see how careful Navane was with that probe. You gotta be a little bit careful because if the probe's like right up on those goons and the goons get a miss or something on the mine, that mine will come up and blow up your probe. Then you'll feel bad about it. Luckily, it got kind of hung up on this ramp. Okay, all good to go. And Navane's going to be getting his third. The Chimera's going to be aware of it. So that's the joys of having mines everywhere. A couple siege tanks now. Going to start adding second factory, getting +1 weapons. Third tank, also up there on the high ground. And now also kind of what goes in hand with like the 6:30 third base timing for Protoss is also that 6-7 minute window where, you know, the robotics facility is up, and the robotics facility is capable of bringing some shuttles. So gonna send these out, get some vision, have some turrets, just in case. This turret also very helpful against DTs. It's not uncommon to see Terran slap a turret kind of over here for visibility. He's definitely much more concerned about a potential like Reaver drop than a DT walking in, which makes some sense, right? You got mines, so you can defend against DTs at this point. Is there a turret under here? No, I don't think so. Speaking of under here, my kids have recently learned of the joke, hey, Dad, look over there. And then you say, underwear. And they're like, ah, he said underwear. So that's been fun. Ooh. Oh, I guess it didn't go off. It kind of looked like it. Wow, that's dangerously close. I think if these goons were like 1 hex over, that mine would have popped out of the ground. Observer comes, able to clear that, bringing a battle probe along as well. We'll see what goes down with that guy. Interesting. Might have just been a mistake. Alright, we do have Starport's science facility going down here at the Natural. We are on 3 factories right now. So this is a little bit of a choice, right? Going early Starport, science facility. Observer's not going to see too much. It's going to see a 4th factory going down and a 5th. I've seen a lot of Terrans prioritize going 5 factory over getting the Starport science facility 2nd armory. This a little late as well. Usually this gets built at the same time. So this looks like a little bit of a different order. Look at this probe. This cheeky ass little probe hiding behind this tree. This might be trying to identify any like vulture drops or something along those lines. Alright, we got Stargate going up, we got Templar Archives. So I imagine we're going to be seeing some Arbiter play. Maybe just storms from our Protoss player. And Chimera just Patiently building up. Looks like he's thinking about taking a third. We do have an SCV out here. He might just be building some turrets as well. I feel like this would be a little early to get a third. And yeah, it looks like he's just going to be throwing down a missile turret here. Posturing to take a third. And we'll probably see that go up here in about a minute or two. So not using the starport. Definitely just trying to go upgrades. Right now we are at 1-0. Should be hitting 2-1 here shortly. And then we'll have a pretty significant power spike for our Terran player. Meanwhile, our probe hiding behind this tree. This looks so on purpose, right? Like, he saw that tree and was like, yep, we're going to park this probe right there. I want to see that matter at some point. Ah, he moves up and he's going to die to this vulture. Bummer. Bye, probe. But he throws down a pylon before he takes off. Alright, we have gone up to 7 factories. Chimera did float a CC over and is getting his third base up and running. So 3 base Terran. Upgrades are rolling. Chimera's looking good. Got a pretty significant sized Protoss army. It looks like maybe a small contingent of this will take care of this vulture that's being annoying. And we'll see if the Protoss player, if Navane decides to throw a 4th base down here. It looked like that's what he wanted to do earlier. More naturally defended since he's posturing his army kind of in this area. The natural line of attack for the Terran. Yeah, Chimera is just powering up. Chimera with 140 supply. Both players, a ton of workers. No damage really being dealt to either player. The only fighting we've really had was that vulture down here that killed a probe. And then the early Dragoon pressure that was just kind of the normal dance. Didn't really do anything. So probe looks like they might be taking a 4th base up here. It's going to identify the mine. Going to need to send something up there to clear it. Looks like he's bringing a whole lot of stuff to clear it, actually. He's going to clear with the Zealot's face. I'll go back. Now, he is going to loop around with this army. I'm not sure if that mine was able to see much of this army movement. Now, we're not seeing a reaction from Chimera just yet, but we're starting to get some fighting, okay? So the Protoss getting ready to start pushing. Trying to probably at least contain the Terran, prevent them from taking this base as a 4th. This is also a really good staging point to start attacking this 3rd. This 3rd base is such a pain in the ass to hold for Terran. It's so far from your reinforcements all the way back here in the main. You have this ramp that goes the opposite direction. You've got these areas that are easily attackable by multiple angles. So it looks like Protoss coming in from the north, but that's not all that's coming. He's got a whole ton of Zealots that are going to be sneaking around from the south side, getting on top of these tanks. Now, you can see Chimera's got a really deep siege line, though. But holy crap, is that a lot of Zealots. Supply is plummeting for both players. But overall, Chimera looks like he is going to hold that. It looks like he will protect his 3rd base. And look at all these turrets. There is no Arbiter getting through here. Beautiful. Alright, so Chimera going to throw some soldiers up here in the high ground. Knock out these... Wow, so many observers. Holy crap, I think he's killed 3 and there were 3 more on top of it. And meanwhile, what our Protoss player is doing is double expanding, right? Taking a 4th base up here that he cleared right before that attack. Expanding down here where he killed the probe, or the vulture that was being annoying earlier on. So now we're at, 5 base Protoss here very shortly. Up against our 3 base Terran, who is now getting their 4th up here in the top left. So kudos to Chimera, because I always find getting a 4th base against a Protoss player, especially on this map, to be incredibly difficult. Big Zealot run by, getting all the way into the natural, just running right by, getting up into the main base. Now there is mines all over the place. Oh, but that mine drag, oh, even more, killing a ton of SCVs. And this Zealot, oh, okay, it dies. Oh man, there's just, what's going on here? Okay, this vulture's attacking his own factory. Got a Zealot in here being a nuisance in the mineral line. And it all gets cleaned up. It all gets cleaned up. Honestly, the MVP there, as is the case with a lot of PvT engagements, were the mines that were dragged in to his own units. Alright, mines going down all over the place. Very good discipline there from Chimera. Making sure he has plenty of missile turrets, plenty of mines, really protecting against that ever-present threat of recall, baby. Now this base hasn't been touched yet. And this one has been kind of one of those bases that's just like, hey, don't look at me. I'm gonna throw this down and just hope you don't attack it. But here comes an Arbiter, here comes a whole Terran force, or I'm sorry, Protoss force. And Chimera is here in time, but a little bit late. We'll see if he can get these siege up. This is mostly Dragoons. Huge stasis, holy crap. What is that, 6 tanks out of the fight? While these Dragoons come up and just start clearing everything? That was insane. Alright, it looks like the rest of the non-stasis tanks have been wiped out. And this is what I was saying about the 4th base against Protoss on this map. It is so tough to establish a base here and secure it while protecting your natural. And we just saw, right, like I like that this attack from Nevane came right after that Zealot run by in the main. It pulled everything back in a way. Chimera did a really good job of actually getting back here as soon as he did. Okay, now the rest of the tanks have unfrozen. They've thawed out, and a big storm goes right on top of all of them. And Chimera is going to hold it. Holy crap. 4th base survives. Now let's see what Nevane can do. Nevane up to 74 probes. Has an absolutely rocking economy at this point. What does he have for gateway count? I see at least 10, 11. 11 gateways. Stargate pumping out Arbiters. Any other production I'm missing? 6th base going down here in the bottom right. Nevane is starting to eat up the whole map. Gonna knock out this turret. That's gonna allow an Arbiter to get in here. Now, Arbiter defense on the left-hand side up at the 3rd base is really good. There's some zoning turrets here, but a recall is possible. A lot of mines, though. So I think overall, Chimera is pretty safe from a recall. But these Zealots, holy cow, doing a ton of work. Chimera having to shift a portion of his army from the 4th base over here to the right-hand side. And this is what's going to allow Nevane to like hit over here on the right and then go to the left. Hit on the right, hit on the left. Because the mobility of the Terran force is just so much less superior than the Protosses. Chimera holds it again. Okay, now if I was Chimera, I would be expecting an attack on this side of the map. But Nevane lost a lot. Nevane actually below the Terran supply right now. Having to rebuild their whole force. Wouldn't be a bad time probably for Chimera to actually push out. But that's kind of the aggro version of me. This is probably the more correct version. You know, re-macro with your gajillion factories. You got 4, 8, 9 factories. Sitting pretty. About to mine out in the main. Because he has to replenish those tanks. Like, the supply is looking pretty good. But the tank count's not as high as he would probably like it. Now, we do have a very large unsiege up here. We've got a whole bunch of army movement. Now, we'll see if Chimera wants to take this upper left base, which has the double gas. Or if he's going to try to push. Now, Nevane is also moving up here with a probe. Looking to take this base for himself. Is going to be met by an SCV. That's going to pull the attention of the Protoss army. This is something he wants. He's going to start committing forces to it. And in fact, that is what we're seeing. Now, the Terran force is regrouped here in the middle of their bases. And doesn't look like he's reacting to the SCV going down. Maybe. Okay, yeah, he is. And so Chimera looking to go to the top left. Meanwhile, the Protoss forces come back down. You can see the swirl happening on the mini-map. And there's the scan. He knows where the Protoss army is. Good job by Chimera. Really tight play. Very timely scan. Needs to know where that Protoss force is, where it's moving, where can he best establish a defense to take efficient trades. Now Protoss is going to be hanging out here on the high ground. Does get EMP'd. A lot of Zealots without shields will melt to this force. So he's gonna have to pull back a little bit. Like this is getting a little scary. I thought he had a lot less tanks than he does. He's got a bunch of tanks. Ooh, very stormable though. Oh no! The High Templar gets sniped. There could have been such a massive storm there. Okay, but he's got a lot more High Templar. Let's see what the storms do. Big storm right there on the front. Just, oh my god. Terran army just eating it straight to the face. Another couple of storms. And here we go, having to use up more scans so they can see the the cloaked army underneath. And here come all the zealots. Now, a lot of the Dragoons have already died. But you can look up there at the supply. Chimera is still doing very well. And this is accounting also for the fact that Protoss has 14 more workers. So the army supply looking very good for Chimera. And honestly, saves a lot of tanks. We got over, you know, a control group of tanks here. And it's starting to just push straight down the throat of Protoss. Vayne doesn't have crap for an army right now. Producing off of every gateway he has, making another gateway. I don't think there's anything here to like force a siege, right? There's no Reavers or anything. Bunch of mines going down, and now Chimera is going to start laying siege to the rally point. Going to knock down this wall. Here comes some Arbiters. Do they have enough to get some stasis off? I don't think so just yet. Vayne having to redirect everything that's heading out to the front of his natural. And Chimera just putting on a show right now. Putting on a clinic of how to push against a Protoss position. So we're at 22 minutes. Chimera is sitting at 181 supply. How are we looking on upgrades? We're at 3-2 for Terran. That is scary amounts of damage output for 1-0 for our Protoss player. Got 11 Zealots being produced right now. Got a couple siege tanks up here, starting to blow down the wall to the third base. And here comes some Arbiters. Oh no, getting a little out of position, but they do get off some really strong stasis. 7 tanks have been stasis. Here's a bunch of mines. Holy crap. Some big drags taking out a good amount of vultures with the Zealots. And now we've got a big engagement going on here. I still like the position here for Chimera. But it looks like Vayne might be able to clean up all the non-frozen stuff. And then he's just going to have to puppy guard the frozen tanks that are sitting here. Just get real close. Yeah, just swarm them with Zealots. And then just hang out for a second. Meanwhile, Chimera floating a CC here to the top left is going to be able to knock out this pylon and get it established for his own 5th base. Which is pretty timely because his natural has ran out, his main has ran out. He's on 2 mining bases right now at the top of the map. And there go the tanks. That was a huge hit to Chimera. So that army, that push was really strong. Did a lot of damage. But it took a long time to make. Right? And so now his tank count has been completely reset. The army is looking pretty small here for Chimera. And so now Chimera trying to hit up here at the top of the map. Going to start hitting the economy and potentially knocking out the base here. There's only a few tanks. What do we got? We got 5 tanks up here. Vayne is redirecting his forces to try to help deal with this. Prevent losing this base over here in the left-hand side of the map. And here we go. Big siege. Here comes the science vessel. Can he get the EMP off before this gets stasised? Not entirely sure. All the vultures have died. Not a whole lot of vulture support. Here comes some Goliaths. The EMP was shot, but did miss the Arbiter. Hit a few of these units. He's going to try to siege up. Maybe take out this Arbiter with those Goliaths. He gets away with just 9 health. Or I guess 8 health and 1 shield. Oh, but he blows it up. And the Goliath shredding those Zealots. He is going to hold this position for the moment. This tank only down to 6 HP. A single Dragoon shot will kill it. But he can't close the distance. Needs to get up there with these goons. Oh, man, he retreats. He could knock one of those tanks out real quick. Vulture's trying to apply more pressure. More Protoss forces coming from the south. Meanwhile, Chimera taking the top left as well. So he's going to be back up and running with those 3 mining bases, which he needs to support all these factories that he has back home. Keep them producing non-stop. Right now you can see up in the production tab, 6 vultures at a time, 3 tanks at a time. Oh my gosh, both players just trickling in units to this base. Big EMP does knock out the shields and the energy for that Arbiter. However, he still has this cloak. Well, I guess the science vessels are here, though. Oh, man. Huge storm on the retreating tanks, and it looks like Nevane's going to defend this position. Now, Chimera is aggroing these units up here and has the high ground, so is fighting from an advantageous spot. But now Nevane's pulling back and trying to do the same thing. Look at this, though. Like 6 units to 10 units. Both armies just sending anything that they have to this front line to try to break through. All right, we've got some Vulture reinforcements here. These will protect the tanks. Are we going to see a siege? I don't know. Looks like he wants to keep moving. Wants to break through this fast. Knocking down these goons and the zealots. Does look like Terran is going to slowly secure this high ground. Is going to be able to lay siege and potentially knock out this base. Needs a big stasis or something. Something spellcastery. Storm will help. Storm will help big time. Ooh, the second storm. And the third storm. There it was. We knew we needed some spellcasters. We didn't know what it needed to be. And Protoss has secured the base. Knocked out that final science vessel. And is now up here in the top left. What started off as an attack by Chimera, turning into a very scary counterattack here from Nevane. Oh, here comes some storms. Here come the High Templar. Oh, one of them gets knocked out from the mine. This one doesn't have energy. Again, we've just moved the front. We moved it from Nevane's base up here to the top left at Chimera's base, but both players. It's like they're just sending their rallies straight to these positions and just trickling in units as fast as they can. Both of them going toe for toe on the macro front. But I think, you know, with Chimera, with these siege tanks here in this spot and the turrets available with the Goliaths to help knock out these Arbiters, might be enough, but not if everything gets stasis. 4 tanks, stasis. Nice storm, hitting the ones that aren't frozen. But I don't know if Nevane can keep this up. He has the moment right now with these frozen tanks. Oh man, 3 HP. Whew. Both players just getting a little bit of a breather. The Vulture's showing up just as the Zealots show up. And it looks like Chimera's got it. Looks like he's going to be okay. For the moment. We'll see what happens. Right now, supplies are kind of stabilizing for both players. This base still survives for Nevane. Chimera got his top left base, which is the best base on the map. Right? It's very strong to have this position. Oh, but Nevane skipping that base and going straight in here to the 4th. That's going to give him the high ground, control of these ramps. This was a good move by Nevane. And now all these tanks, there's going to be a huge traffic jam here. Now, Chimera trying to hit it from 2 sides. Huge storms on the ramp. Just electrocuting anything that comes too close. Chimera's economy not as strong as Nevane's, struggling to keep up with this macro. Again, another High Templar that's like, here's an awesome storm opportunity. Oh, but he does get one off. Holy crap. And now Chimera cleaning up what was sent up here to the, I don't know, 12 o'clock position. But Nevane trying to move attention up here to the top left. Wow. Barely, just barely going to be defended again. This is insane. Both players are just exhausting everything they have for repeated attacks. Now this attack looks a little scary though. Because Chimera lost a ton of tanks trying to come back up here to defend. Oh my gosh, another huge storm right on top of the ramp. That was like 4 more tanks gone. I think Nevane has enough to knock out this top left, and that might be the killing blow. This looks incredibly difficult to come back from. This base basically mined out. That'll put Chimera on one base that's not even entirely healthy. Arbiter goes down. Chimera trying to secure this high ground. He's going to lose the CC that was up here in the top left if he doesn't get a repair on it. But there's an SCV. There's one living SCV available right where it needs to be to keep that from burning down. Now, is he going to be able to retake it? I think that's like priority number 1 right now. I don't think he has enough to whack one of Navane's bases. He needs to retake this top left. And meanwhile, we got Navane moving around the right-hand side. All of the Terran army has been focused on reestablishing this expansion, defending that expansion, but now Navane's trying to hit more centrally located. And Navane now with like a 70 supply lead. Solid D matrix. Vulture does go down though. Oh man, this base is now mined out. We're at the point where effectively, you know, Chimera just, you got starved. That was a long game, but exciting all the way to the end. So GG's to both players, and Navane is going to take map number 1. Whoo-wee! Hot tamale. That's what they say. Learned that when I was in Japan. All right. So, Chimera lost that round. That means Chimera gets the map choice. And Chimera is going to pick Radion. So let's go ahead and head on over to Radion, see what game number 2 has for us. This is Radion, right? Yeah. It's Radion. And I think this is going to be the last series. I know there was another series to do, but we're gonna call it a night after we do Navane and Chimera. Getting tired on this random late night Tuesday cast. So next time we cast, we'll go over it at the end of this. But anyway, we've got Navane, our blue Protoss, up here in the top right, and Chimera, our red Terran, down here in the bottom left. Cross spawn positions. Ugh. And we'll see if they do anything differently. Navane last game going for your standard kind of like Dragoon range build. We had Chimera go kind of into a 5-fact, but what we did see is it was more of like an upgrade Terran. He was really prioritizing that. He went 3 factories, then into a starport and science facility, as opposed to going like 5 factories and trying to do a 1-0 push. He kind of stayed home and did a really good job of expanding. He did a really good job of holding his 4th base. That was kind of like the first big battle of the game, was when Navane tried to deny the Terran 4th base, but Chimera was able to hold it, and once he did that, was able to go to 9 factories, and it just became a huge macro fight all the way to the end. Like both players pretty much operating on like 2 control groups of units the whole time. Chimera had a really good push that went right down the middle of the map. And I think that was probably one of the better opportunities Chimera had to finish that game. But wow, that last game was insane. It was absolutely insane. Ah, it makes me thirsty. All right, so we do have Protoss doing a cross scout. Very thankfully for Navane. Gonna get eyes on his opponent right off the bat. Now, the refinery was already being constructed, but that would have been kind of like a cheeky little gas steal if Navane was able to pull that off on a 4-player map. Would have been super annoying. Chimera heading over to the bottom right, not going to see his Protoss opponent. Not uncommon as well for Terran to end scout this and then go up to the top left. So we'll see if he goes up to the top left. It looks like the SCV might be heading that way. And so he's not going to have an understanding of what's going on in the Protoss base until the very latest moment. Which means you need to be careful if there's a Zealot on the map, right? There's a world where when you end scout and you don't see the Protoss main within your first 2 attempts, there could be a Zealot out poking around. All right, so we have the factory going down. Didn't catch the timing this time. Last game, Chimera was able to get that thrown down at like 228. It's really solid. And yeah, Chimera's gonna see like, ah, shit. Still don't know what the Protoss is up to, but looks like more of the same as last game. Nevane does have a single Dragoon out on the map, does have range being upgraded. This Dragoon might actually cross paths with this SCV. Let's see. Nope. Just miss each other. So the SCV is going to come up here, is going to see the expansion go down. And should be feeling relatively comfortable. He's going to know, like, if he clicks on this, he's going to know that this wasn't like a Nexus first or anything along those lines. And that everything is kind of playing out regularly. Now, the Dragoon has shown up. Range, obviously not complete yet. Does try to dance around this bunker. Really what he's checking for is that expansion. And he's going to see the expansion has been started for our Terran player. We've got our Vulture. Going to head on the map. Machine Shop. Going to start tank production probably. We'll see if he does 3 Vultures. I think he did 2 last game. He used them primarily just to mine up expansion locations, mine up the reinforcing path of the Protoss. We got our second factory as well. Alright, so we're going to push out. We're going to try to kill this Dragoon, or at least get a lot of damage on it. Does a really good job. In the center of the map, we have a second Dragoon coming up for Nevane. Oh, Nevane turns around a little too early. This one very close to death. Needs to be careful, because he's going to come down here, and he's going to start pelting this bunker. But there's a world where Chimera is able to actually hop out and finish off that Dragoon. So he needs to be careful about the placement of these two and how he uses them. Meanwhile, we do have the Vulture out on the map. Chimera using that space that he bought by pushing out with those 3 Marines to get this guy out. And we'll see if he can get a run by or anything. Okay, so the SCVs are present. They're going to be able to start repairing this, no problem. And if the tank targets this Dragoon, or if he spits out these Marines, oh, that thing's dead. It's got to be dead. Oh, no! It survives. It survives. Now, mines are about done. And it looks like Nevane's going to, or I'm sorry, Chimera's going to prioritize getting some mines here in the path of these Dragoons. We'll see if these two run into it. Oh, it even comes down here. Oh, man, does blow up on that first Dragoon. Gets some damage for free. And now this Vulture's out of mines, so it's just going to have to run around. He'll probably use it just scouting information. It does look like Nevane's actually trying to get an early third. And that's not going to pan out for him. This Vulture right where it needs to be. Going to kill that probe and punish Nevane for trying to get that down early. Okay, so we're at 2 gateways. We do have range, and we have robotics facility up and running for our Protoss player. We are getting a Citadel as well. And this time, we've got a couple Dragoons coming up here looking for a mine that doesn't exist. Look at it. He's like, where is it? Where's the mine? But no mine to be found. We'll likely see the expansion coming out here soon. All right, 3 tank push coming out for Chimera. Now the tanks, the whole group not really together. But we do have oh, but the mine's huge mine. Holy crap. Killing 2 of the Dragoons, wounding a 3rd. This one also wounded from a mine. Right now the Dragoons that are available for Nevane are all battered and bloodied. So this push might be a lot more successful than it otherwise would be. Let's see how Chimera can make this work. He's got speed Vultures following up. So this time going mines and then speed as opposed to mines and then siege like we saw last game. Looks like these Vultures going to be dropping some mines here on the front line. Big mine! Another goon goes down. Unfortunately takes that Vulture with it. And we're left with just 3 tanks, a Vulture, and a Marine. Marine gets blasted by the goons. Oh man, this mine has an opportunity to do something really cool here. And we're down to 2 tanks, a couple Vultures back here. Looks like that's the rally position. They're going to be moving up here as well. And Nevane on the ropes. On the ropes. Another mine gets another goon. And now we got the probes. Okay. Chimera's getting a lot of damage done. This might have been the push he absolutely needed. They're going up into the main. There's no army for Nevane whatsoever. Not a single thing that shoots. He's got 4 gateways though, and 4 goons are about to pop out. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this vulture up here just killing everything. I think it died with 5 kills. Cleans up that one. Oh, man. Mine just barely doesn't explode. And now the natural has been effectively cleaned out. Chimera going to start setting up a soft contain. Now, I'm not sure if he's aware of this third base. He knows that he slowed it down earlier by killing that probe. But I think Nevain's going to be able to clean this up. But the damage was pretty substantial. You can see it especially in the worker count. 45 SCVs to 29 probes? Kidding? Holy crap. Chimera has done so much damage here. Now, Nevain is going to be able to clean this up. These Dragoons are going to come in here, knock out this tank. All good to go. But I want to see this mine. Now, there's no reason for these goons to go up there, though, right now. But Chimera's going to get some free vision, I guess, for the time being. He also has another vulture coming over here to be a pain in the butt at the third. Okay, this looks like a miss rally. Going to lose that tank, unfortunately, for Chimera. And now he's got to kind of rebuild his army, but he's sitting so far ahead economically, he's going to start exploding, getting his 5 factories down. We're not seeing the starport first this time. Heck, I don't even see an armory yet. We have an academy going down. So yeah, really liking Chimera's position. Going to be fighting these zealots in the middle of the map. Very cool. Now, Nevain is getting his third base. Like, his base is survived. Right, so he's going to be able to catch up on the probe count pretty effectively, I think. Oh, but Chimera's getting his own third base. Very cool. 6 factory. Still no armory. No, there is an armory. Where's the armory? There it is. Okay, he's getting +1 weapons now. He's got vultures all over the map providing vision. This mine still up here. Which you love to see. You just, when you have like one of those hidden mines somewhere that just was never detected or detonated and it's near a mineral line, it almost seems like you're willing to throw away an army just to get like a Dragoon to chase a vulture up there. Because if you can get that to happen and get a big explosion on the probes, oh, chef's kiss. Beautiful. We'll see if that happens, but that's kind of the dream, right? Not sure if the cannon can see that actually from there. But anyway, that's small potatoes. As you can see, still 10 probes or 8 probes behind, but you can see how fast Nevain is able to get that probe count back up with that third Nexus in play. The third CC almost done. Chimera is going to be establishing his supply depot wall here at the third base. And he's also starting to get some scans. So he's very aware that this Stargate is just now finishing up. Now, in last game, one of the things that really turned the engagement into Nevain's favor was the combination of Stasis and Storm. We'll see if he continues kind of down that path. And honestly, I've just been impressed by Chimera's ability to expand and secure third so easily against his Protoss opponent. Okay, I say that though. And now here comes the Protoss army, knocking down the first supply depot, which never got completely finished. But this is close enough. Like, this third base, not the worst in the world to defend. Chimera's going to bring down a bunch of siege tanks, and there's really nothing that's going to be crossing this bridge for the time being. We're up to 6 factories. We have our starport. Expect a science facility to go down here soon. And meanwhile, Nevain is really just, you know, catching up on his supply. He's still down 40 supply. Throwing down a bunch of gateways. He has 3 healthy bases, but that's just matching the Terran player, right? So he's going to need some form of tech. And he's all goons right now, too. So this is a tough fight against a very tank-heavy army that has all these vultures to support and eat these shots. You can see, I think there's like 1 shot on a tank, right? Like, everything else has just been eating vultures, which are a dime a dozen. And these mines, holy crap, these mines are doing so well for Chimera. Now, a bunch of the Dragoons splitting off to the left, but Chimera focusing down towards the natural. Looks like he might veer off over here, kill this third base. No, he is redirecting. Okay, so he is going to take the opportunity. He's going to send his tanks down here to the third base, siege up, and there's really nothing this third base can do. Even over here, there are siege tanks, vultures, a couple turrets going down as well. I imagine Chimera might just mine this up and hit the third. Okay, he's going to leave a couple tanks behind, more than enough to take care of the third. He's going to really continue to apply pressure here to the natural. He knows he's ahead. I don't think he knows how ahead he is. I mean, he's up 50 supply. And he's slowly just working his way through here. And I know that he's doing all this just so he can have that dream explosion. Now, this is going very well for our Terran. Some additional tanks back here. Slowly chipping away on this third base. It's knocking out the natural. And it's all Zealots right now for our Protoss player. Now we have 7 Zealots and 3 High Templar about to come out. Now we also almost have legs. So we'll see if the legs can help turn this, but honestly the damage has just been so immense. We're at 26 probes for our Protoss player. I think this is about it. Like, honestly, what we would need to have happen is these High Templar soak up so much energy so fast that they can storm through this, but Chimera's not stopping, right? He's just sending tons of shit across the map, and there's just so much here. So I don't really think that there's a way out for our Protoss friend. A couple really good mines. We now have Goliaths in the mix. And you can see the Zealots, now that speed is done, are doing a really good job of shredding through these tanks. But even if he kills all of this, there's just so much more on its way. Something killed an egg. That's probably just Splash from a siege tank. He's been hitting so much Protoss units that it actually killed the egg. And there it is, GG. We got a game number 3, y'all. And these two make for very good games. Definitely excited about it. So who are we gonna skip? So we're gonna end up skipping the Mevius Keen match. We'll come back and do it some other time. We'll also end up doing the Ziggy Sticks. That'll be done by Nevane. Nevane said he wanted to cast it. But anyway, we have game number 3 in this series. And this is for all the marbles. The loser of this match will be out of the running for the $50 prize. And the winner will carry on into the losers round number 3. And so Chimera won that last map, which means Nevane gets to pick the very final map, and he chose Polestar. Let's go ahead and watch these two duke it out on Polestar. Okay, cool. So Polestar, another 4-player map. It does look like we have a cross spawn spawn again. We've got in the top right our blue Terran, Chimera. And in the bottom left we have our red Protoss, Nevane. And these two have been having really good matches. That first one was extremely long. It was like 30-something minutes. The last one was a little bit more normal. But what it came down to last game was Chimera doing so much damage with that early push of his. He did a 3-tank push and was able to just annihilate everything that was going on at the natural and completely reset Nevane to the point where I think he was down 20 workers to Chimera. I mean, with that being how the game opened, Nevane did a really good job of coming back, but wasn't able to fully, and Chimera was able to take it. Now, another thing that allowed that push to be so powerful was the success of the mines. Like, Nevane just had really bad luck. I guess a combination of luck and Chimera placing mines in really good locations, but Nevane was just running into all the mines. Lost several Dragoons to him. I really wish we had kind of like, I don't know, like a post-engagement breakdown, and it's like, this many goons died to mines, because there was a lot. There was a lot, and that's definitely why Chimera's 3-tank push did so much damage. There just wasn't that much to defend. So it looks like Nevane is cross-scouting again. He did this last game as well. In this game, he's going to get fortunate and get the first scout off as well. So we'll probably be feeling pretty good about that Chimera sending out a scout here on 13. Getting the refinery, getting the barracks. Here comes Mr. Probe himself. Now this time Chimera is sending this SCV to chase. Makes me wonder if Chimera is going to try to capitalize off the success he had on that early push last game. Try to keep this probe out of his base with a little bit more aggression, using this SCV, pulling it off of mining to go into a 2-fact. We haven't seen that. We've seen Chimera mostly just rearrange what upgrades he's getting for his units, as opposed to changing too much of his like initial build. And it looks like we're seeing more of that. He pulls a couple off gas. He's going to throw it on his factory. It looks like he'll expand after that. So nothing terribly crazy. Navane sticking with his Dragoon range opener. Imagine we'll see range here any second. And all is right in the world. And again, Chimera doing the end scout. The end scout to get the 3rd scout off. Alright, getting 3 Marines. Cool. Cool. And this signals your reminder to stay hydrated. Okay, so Goon heading across the map. We have 3 Marines here. We're pretty safe. Getting the expansion down. I imagine this guy's going to come down and build that bunker. So the bunker's going to be building by the time this Goon shows up. But we do have the Vulture. So last game, we saw Chimera try to bully this Dragoon with this force. Ooh, but this time the man's going to get the jump on the Vulture and do a little bit of damage to it before it gets out on the map. So overall, like the very beginning 4 minutes of all 3 of these matches has looked very, very similar, with just like micro advantages going to either player. This time the bunker is full, it's good to go. Range isn't quite done yet, but we do have the 2nd Dragoon heading across the map. This 3rd one will be out here pretty soon. Honestly, there is kind of a window on Navane. Was it 420-ish time frame when the 2nd Goon runs away for that Vulture to come up here and start being a nuisance, but doesn't look like it's going to be happening this round. Chimera definitely enjoys having his Vulture out on the map, not necessarily doing a run-by with 1 or 2, but really utilizing them for their mines once the mine upgrade is completed. So, range complete. Dragoons are going to start pelting the bunker. Same old ants. It's like 90% of your TVPs. Thought my dog was making some weird noises there. And we are going up to a 3rd gateway. Got the robotics facility, getting the observatory. Yeah, everything's pretty standard. We are getting our armory a little bit earlier, and this is because we're not going for that early 3-tank push. Right, we're not throwing down a 2nd factory just yet. Looks like Chimera is going to get his armory, then probably eBay if he hasn't already done so. Looks like he's doing that right now. Then he'll throw down his 2nd factory, probably get a few safety Goliaths, and then continue macroing up his tank and Vulture count. Now we can see Chimera doing a good job of getting mines up here on the high ground. Common staging point, primary path of attack for the Protoss units into the natural of the Terran, and might get lucky again with mines, but it looks like Navane's being a little bit more careful with his goons than he was last game. Ooh, nice pick on the Vulture there. So Chimera has an opportunity here. He knows these goons are here, and I'm wondering if he's going to try to pull them back into these mines. We are still pre-observer at the moment. But no, it looks like he's just going to try to push. Honestly, this looks a little like weak for the Terran. Like 1 tank, 2 Marines isn't going to do anything against 7 Dragoons. So I guess he just pushes just enough, scare Navane a little bit, send his goons back home. But that was definitely a risk. There was a very high risk there, very high chance that the Dragoons could just redirect and just wipe this small force out. You don't want to lose an early tank just yet. Second factory going down. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting safety Goliaths. But we do have a turret here. This is kind of your anti-DT turret. We were talking about that game 1 where he put his turret more like up with his minerals. He was more concerned about like a drop. This time it looks like he wants to ensure there's no DTs coming in. And we're at like the 7-minute mark. We are a little bit late for a third for Nevane. He has been trying to expand a little bit earlier. Now last game he tried to go exceptionally early, like right at the end of the 5-minute mark, right at 6 minutes. But there was a vulture chill in here. This time Nevane has done a good job of getting those vultures off the map. So able to come up here with no problem, no mines to deal with or anything along those lines. Nevane's starting to build up a pretty decent force. And he's got an observer too, so these mines not going to be particularly scary. And he has that critical mass where it's like, I've got enough dragoons, whatever. They'll shoot anything that pops out of the ground. So he just cleans up those 3, no problem. So already a way better start than we saw last game from Nevane, at least with regards to mines. And you can see the supplies too, right? 85 to 59. Feeling good. We've got 4 tanks on the field. We are going up to 5 factories. We're continuing to mine clear for Nevane. That's all the mines that are on the map. They're all gone. And it looks like Nevane is preparing for a 4th base. Looks up here, doesn't see any expansion, sees the eBay. Take some pot shots at that. That'll probably just get pulled back though, no problem. Okay, cool. So we're at 5 facts. We are just now getting +1. I don't think Chimera is really at a point where he can feel comfortable to push just yet. So he's going to get a couple Goliaths, going to continue his tank production, vulture production. Somehow this turret just out of range of this observer. I wonder if he can see it though. Yeah, I know. Just the glimmer. All right. So we're getting some cannons up at the at the 3rd base. Love to see that. It's going to completely shut down any vulture run by attempts that Chimera might try to do. He hasn't been really big on that though. We've been watching Chimera. He uses his vultures a lot. He's good with his vultures, but he hasn't been really doing a whole lot of like run bys or, you know, just grab like 6 or 7 of them and go check out bases. At this point in the game, we've been seeing Chimera primarily just make his mech blob and move it across the map. And so what I'm curious about is what that trigger is going to be this game. He's still on 1 armory. He has his 5 factories, but we don't see that earlier starport that we saw game 1 that he used primarily just to get a science facility and additional upgrades. Okay, so he's moving out. This is kind of like that first step for Terran, whether they're going to take their 3rd base or start pushing, securing this intersection outside the natural on Polestar. He's going to start putting some turrets up here. We'll see if he ends up trying to push for that 3rd. He's kind of more towards the north, honestly, which seems a little bit more defensive of the natural and more kind of offensive in nature, like he's preparing to attack. Wow, a lot of really good siege shots there. Killing a couple goons for free. And he's going to chase this Protoss army away. Nevane going to turn and try to knock out some of these vultures. He needs to be careful about all these mines, though. And now the tanks are in the fight. He's going to lose all of those dragoons. Oh my goodness. Not sure a single Terran unit was eliminated during that. And now Nevane having to regroup over here off to the side of the attack path. Now we've got some zealots running up. Getting knocked out by these vultures though. But now this is going to allow these zealots and dragoons to get on top of the tanks. The vulture's a little out of position. Losing a lot of mech here. Oh, big mine explosion. 2 goons go down. Tanks take out a 3rd one. Another mine. Holy crap. We got goon juice everywhere, buddy. And that 4th base still not down yet. Oh my gosh. The pylons. No. Probes can move through pylons, right? I think that's a thing. Okay, Chimera not done with his push. Still barreling towards the natural of the Protoss player. But now we've got High Templar. We've got a ton of Zealots. They look fast, too. We got Zealot legs. And I'd like to see these SCVs start repairing, like this one. Oh no, is this tank going to be able to make it? It does. Holy crap. The small little hit squad that was there to take care of reinforcements does not do their job. And now it looks like Chimera getting ready to start leapfrogging his tanks slowly towards the natural of the Protoss. Chimera demonstrating some really good control here. Holy crap, look at this number of zealots. This looks like he's going straight for the Terran base. Now, if he takes this and he throws it straight into the natural, what's here? We got a bunch of unsieged tanks. We got a bunch of vultures. But instead, it looks like Nevane actually going for a flanking maneuver, cleaning up these mines. And we'll see what damage he can do coming from the top of this force. He's going to be attacking from the high ground. I don't think there's vision. Yeah, he can't even see up here with his tank. So that's going to help Nevane close the distance. Now, Nevane trying to hit from the south as well. Oh man, a bunch of vultures do show up though to try to start helping. But if these zealots can get on top of these tanks, it's going to be game over for Chimera's attack. Big storm comes down. One more tank remaining. The rest is just vultures. Oh, but this tank is still surviving. Needs to target that down with his goons. Target the tank. Oh man, 4 more tanks show up. Chimera getting closer and closer to the natural. Starting to look pretty rough for our Protoss player. There's only 3 goons here at the natural, 2 more showing up. This is a lot of tanks. Now, he did close the distance. That's going to help a good amount with the splash damage, but oh no, all the goons are dead. Observatory dies, and here comes the vultures to start laying mines all in front of this position. This might be all she wrote for our Protoss hero. Oh man, turrets being thrown down by the SCVs. And then generally what we see Chimera do is like take 2 tanks and just like park them like outside one of these expansions. But this one is an elevated expansion. And he does have some cannons there. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get up there to knock anything out. But he might just go for the jugular. Slowly creeping in on the natural. This spot can hit the mineral line. Needs to be careful about these mines also. Not a bad idea if he were to shoot like this mine. Just get rid of it so a zealot can't drag it right into your clump of tanks. But overall, this might be Chimera's match. Let's see the final push. And there was that mine drag! I told you! There's another mine there as well, but the zealot's having a tough time closing the distance. Can we get the drag? He does! Slowly knocking these tanks out, but we still have a good amount of depth here from Chimera, and there's no army left for Nevane. Nevane's still stuck on 2 bases. Chimera on a full 3. And this is a full contain. Like, Nevane really has nowhere to go. The 3rd base now getting schwacked by a bunch of vultures. Starting to tear through the cannons with their 1-1 upgrades. And there it is. Oh, GG. All right. So it does look like Chimera is going to advance in our $50 tournament. He's going to be going to the losers round 3 over here. These guys, he's one of these blocks. I guess it'd be like that one. And that's going to be it for the cast tonight. So thanks for watching. Primarily doing these late at night just so I can get them up on YouTube for the players so they can observe their games and relive the joy or the sadness depending on who they are. But yeah, that was fun. Let's go ahead and raid somebody. There's a couple people out there, I think, so we might as well find someone to raid. And next time we cast, we'll knock out the Mevius Keen match right there. And then Nevane at some point is going to be casting Ziggy for Styx. And then we'll also just do the next little batch of the bracket. We'll do the losers round 3 and the winners round 4, which I know will be phenomenal games. So let's find someone to raid, and then we go to bed. Because that's what we do. It says Pro League Watch Party from Cyan, but it looks like he's playing something. Maybe Arc Raiders. Let's do Author Valentine. Cool dude. He's not playing StarCraft, but he's just rad, so let's raid him. And that'll be ready in 10 seconds. And all 4 of us will enjoy a stream together. Alright guys, talk to you later.